Hello and welcome to acadsystems Inventor free online courses. For today's topic, we will take a look at the Inventor sketches. So for now, I'm going to open up a new Inventor part files. I'm going to select standard part files. So right over here is the 3D modeling tools from the inventors. But before creating a 3D tools using Inventor, you need to have a sketch first. So that is basically what we are going to do today. So from here, you can go from this 3D modeling tab, then you should have this sketch ribbon. Then you can select this sketch tool from here. And then from here, you can select 3 different planes that allow you to sketch into. For this case, I'm going to select the XY plane. And then it's facing up this XY plane, and I can sketch into this particular face. From here on the sketch tabs, and then we have the sketch tools that you can use to create. So the first one is drawing using the lines. So I can create a sketch using this line. You can just pick from one point to the second point, and then to the next point, and so on. To stop, you can just press escape tools, and I have my line has been created. So to create a lines with some specific dimensions, I can go ahead and click line again, and I can select at this point, for example. Before I creating anywhere, I can input the value of my line over here. For example, if I want to have my lines around 10 millimeters, I can just input the value. The next thing is I can also input the angles of my lines. I can press tabs to change from lines to angles. So I can put the value. Let's say I'm going to go with 45. So I can put 45, and I can press tab to accept this value. But if I want to rechange back the length, I can hit that again, and I can input the new value from here. And I can press enter, and I have this line has been created. So that is how you create the lines. So next is the sketches. So you can find circle sketches from here. So I can click circles, and I can click anywhere to create a sketch of these circles. So these circles is created based on the center points, and you can see over here it's creating using diameter. So I can put the diameter value from there. But if I don't want to use diameter, I can input radius, for example. For that, I can just right click and input the value and click the radius, and now it's changed to radius. So I can input the value for the radius over here. So if I want to change back, so likewise, I can just right click and select the diameter, and I can input the value for this diameter. Basically, you just need to have a line and circles. Basically, you can just draw anything using the inventors. So next on, we're going to take a look on the modifying tools. So this is the second important things to draw your sketches. When you draw using lines and curve with the circles, you can use modifying tools to modify your sketches. So let me just open up one examples. So from here, I have this sketch that I have drawn before. Now, if I would like to move it around to other places, so you can go to the modifying tabs, and I can click at the move tools over here. I can select my object, and I can select my base point to click at the points that I would like to hold and move to other locations. So I can select base points, and I can select the points that I would like to select. Let's say I'm going to select from the center, and then I can just move it over here. So I can do that again by selecting the base point. Let's say this time I'm going to select the base point from here, and I can just move it over here. So that is the move tools from the modifier. The next one is the copy. So if you like to have multiple copies of your sketches, so you can click copies, you can select the sketch. The same again, you need to select the base point. Basically, the step is similar with the move, but instead of moving around, it will create a copies at the location that you have clicked. Once done, I can just press done, and I have these copies of sketch that I have created before. Next thing is the modifying things that I would like is, let's say if I would like to rotate this object. Below the copy, we have the rotating tools. So I can select rotate, I can select the object, I can select the center points. So this center point which allow to rotate based on that point that you have selected. So for this case, I'm going to select at this center point over here, and I can select yes, and it allows me to rotate. I can also input the value, the angle from here. So if I would like to rotate around 90 degrees, I'm gonna input 90. So I'm going to input the other side. So for that, I'm going to add negative, and I can hit apply. So now I have rotate 90 degrees to the right side. Let's say I'm going to rotate again. So I can select, and I can select the center points. And then for this case, I'm going to rotate around this particular area. So I can just click anywhere. And then that anywhere become your centers of your rotation. So again, similarly, I can just input the value. Let's say I'm gonna go with 180. It's rotating 180. Then you have something like this. So that is the rotate. The most important things about the modifying tools, it's allowing you to cut or delete. For that, you can use trim. So let me just open up one examples. Let's say if I have this particular object, I can delete these lines by selecting and select delete. But if I would like to delete this center over here, to cut it, if I try to delete it, deleting the entire lines. For that case, we can use trim tools. So this will cut that particular lines, and then there will be holes from that particular lines that you have cut. You can also cut a circles, and these circles will become an arc tools. The opposite of trims, let's say if I would like to add a line, so to extend the line, we can use the extend tools. So extend tools allow to extend the line to the next top line. For example, I have this line over here, and I would like to extend this to the next line. So I can just click, and it will be stopping at the line. So you need to have a line or something for it to stop. Only then you can use the extend tools. You can also extend the arc, and it will allow to extend to the next one. Next thing is the splitting tools. Split tools function almost the same with the trims. Our trims will delete the other half. For example, if I would like to cut this into, let's say, 2 sections, but I don't want to delete the other side, so I can use splitting tools. You can use split tools, and go to the lines and click. Right now, this line has become 2 lines. So instead of becoming as 1 straight line, it's now become 2 lines. But this one is still as 1 line. If I would like to cut it into 2 sections, I can use splits, and I can select, and right now it's become 2, 3. So next thing is the scale tools that you can use to enlarge or decrease the size. For example, if I would like to increase the size of the sketches, I can use scale. I can select my sketches over here. And then again, you need to have a base point. So I can select my base points, I can select anywhere, and it will enlarge from that location, from that point. So if I would like to increase 2 times larger, I can also input the value from here. So that I can input 2, it will become 2 times larger. And I can hit apply, and it will become large. Now let's say if I would like to decrease, so again, I can select my object, selecting the base points. Let's say I would like to decrease from these points. So it will move it bigger or smaller from that point. And I want it to be half the size, and put the value here, 0.5, which will be the half of the original size. You can hit apply. Right now we have these scale downs, half of the size. Next, we have the stretches. Stretch allow you to stretch the lines. For example, if I have this line, I can click and drag it out. And right now, currently, I'm stretching this line over there. But what if you have multiple lines that you have to stretch? For that case, you can use stretch tools. So I can select stretch and I can select multiple lines. Once you have it being highlighted, I can select the base points and I can select to drag it out. Once I'm done, I can just click and then it's now stretched to that point that I select. I can select that. And lastly, from the modifying tools, you have the offset tools. This allowing you to create additional lines with the certain offset. For example, if I have these particular line walls over here, and I would like to create another lines at the above and at the left. So if I try to do it manually, I have to create a line to draw, and I want to have the distance between this and the second lines with some distance. So that will be a manual process. But with using the offsets, you can just quickly click. So when I click the offset, I can just click the lines, and right away it's creating the entire lines. Then you can input the value of the offset. So I want to have a distance around once, and I can press enter. Then you have the second line with the distance from the original line is 1. So that is basically from the modifying tools. So let's say you already created your object and you have modified your objects, and then you want to save your sketches. So you cannot directly to save from the sketch environment. So if I try to save, it's giving you a warning pop-up that you cannot save from this drawing environment. So you need to close first. You need to get out from drawing environment by clicking at the finish sketch from here. So I can select finish sketch, and then currently it's going back to the 3D modeling environment from here, and I can click save, and then I will now save my drawing. So if I would like to go back to my sketch environment, you can find at the model tree over here, you can find the sketch that you have sketched before. So what I can do, I can just double click and it will open up my sketch environment, and I can continue to edit or anything to finalize my sketch from here. Right, so that is basically the things that you need to do to sketch, with the Inventor environment. So that concludes our lesson for today with the Inventor sketch tools using Inventor Professional.